Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Sometimes our lives can get so routine. We get up, take a shower, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, eat, go to bed, then get up in the morning and do it all over again. Never have I felt that way more than when I had small children. I planned trips to the library just to have something to look forward to each week. Wednesday night dinners at church were our biggest excitement. But then I read Exodus 3, 1-5. Let me read it to you. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the back of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. So he looked, and behold, the bush was burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. Then Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush does not burn. So when the Lord saw that he turned aside to look, God called to him from the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Then he said, Do not draw near to this place. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. I realized that Moses had had 40 years of shepherding, which sounds like an incredibly boring job. 40 years. I bet it got pretty routine. But it was in the midst of his shepherding job that God met him. Maybe he'd been on that mountain hundreds of times before and just hadn't been paying attention, or God wasn't ready yet. But God told him that the ground where he was standing was holy. He might have walked the same ground before and never needed to take his sandals off. So what made the difference? It was because he was meeting with God. I got to thinking, if I wanted a holy ground moment, I didn't need to look around for a burning bush. Any moment could turn into a holy ground moment if I invited God into it. He meets us in the middle of our everyday routines, whenever He's invited. It could be in front of the sink or in our car, at the kitchen table, or even at a desk at work. So I started using any quiet time as God time. First, when I was feeding my baby, I could use that time to praise the Lord and enjoy His presence. It also doubled as singing the baby to sleep. Then I started praying as I washed the dishes, which was at least daily since we didn't have a dishwasher. I'd even be sure to take off my shoes to remind myself that I was on holy ground. As my children grew, I found ways to invite God into my everyday routine, since my quiet time during naps dwindled to nothing. And I learned to invite my children into holy ground as we took walks and talked about God's amazing creation. Any time you meet with God, you're standing on holy ground. It doesn't have to be on a mountain somewhere in the back of the desert. Where is your holy ground? Where in your daily routine could you invite God today?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.